Hello everyone, welcome to my latest dumb idea. Like the title says, I'm gonna see how many giant crops I can get in one single field over the course of an entire year. That means starting right here in spring, I'm gonna grow cauliflower. Some of them will be giant by the end of the month. Moving into summer, we'll do melons. I am going to be using a few mods for this, both the item spawner and the cheats menu, just to make the whole thing a little bit faster and easier, although it's still going to take quite a bit of effort. I already had to circle around an entire year to get right here back to the 1st of spring to make this idea work. And with the cheats, I have the option to grow my plants to maturity in a single day. That way I can hopefully start getting giant cauliflower by tomorrow. First, I need to get rid of a few buildings. I've had this horse for like 60 years. Now that the buildings are out of the way, it's simply time to clear out everything else that's in my field so it's a whole blank slate. The added benefit of using bombs and super speed is that the field also hoes itself as I'm doing this, so by the time all the stuff's cleared out, I'm basically ready to plant right away. Apparently my horse doesn't realize he no longer has a home and is no longer welcome here. To be fair though, he has lasted probably 10 times longer than any of my marriages. Alright, my field is now ready for seeding. It is 5:40 p.m. already, but since I can control time, that doesn't really matter. I now have in my possession just about 4,000 cauliflower seeds. I think the entire field takes 3,200, somewhere in there, so I just gotta plant them all. Luckily I have super speed, so this should actually be pretty fast for once. I have determined my favorite speed for laying down seeds is player speed 6. Any faster and you miss too many seeds along the way. At speed 6 you do miss a few, but they are fairly few and far between and you just gotta run back and do them. Any slower and you're just too slow. Also, for some reason, holding down right click is a lot better for planting seeds than left click, because if I do left click I get very few seeds going down, and right click is basically all of them. The seeds are all down. It was actually closer to about 3,400. It is still 7 p.m. because I froze time, because it was getting dark and I'm scared of the dark. You've probably also noted I didn't put any scarecrows down, and I didn't, and I'm not going to bother because I don't care if I lose a few along the way. These are not all going to turn into giant crops, I don't think, so I'm not too worried about losing a few of them along the way. Before I get too carried away, I've turned the time back to 1:20 p.m. so I could build a gold clock. But now, no debris will turn up in my field and also take out crops. That goes there, and no more wood, no more weeds, no more anything I don't want. Now that my gold clock is down and all my seeds are planted, it's time to see if I can make these all grow, so we'll try that with the cheats menu. And I've selected O, for no reason in particular. So if I press O on the crops, they grow up. This is a lot easier and a lot faster than watering them all and then waiting for them for however many days they take. Obviously, none of them are giant yet, and I don't think they're going to be growing like this, but once they are mature, they do have a chance of turning into giant crops after the fact, so they'll be matured for the entire month, and hopefully I get a whole bunch of them. I do also have myself set to maximum luck in the cheats menu. Not sure if that has an effect on giant crops, but it certainly could, so we'll see. There, all the cauliflower are matured. I could harvest them now. Obviously I'm not going to. I'm going to go to bed and save all my progress so far. It would be a real shame if the game crashed and I lost all that. Now to see on the 2nd of spring if any of them turn giant or not. So far, nothing. Okay, none of them turn giant. That's not a big surprise. I'm not sure if they even can before their natural maturity date, which would normally be on the 13th of spring. So we'll skip ahead a few more days and see if anything changes. Moving ahead to the 5th, there are a few crows, and so far, nothing giant. I really do suspect that they will not turn giant till at least the 13th. And for those of you that don't know, in order for a crop to turn into a giant crop, it obviously has to be one of the available kinds, the cauliflower, the melon, or the pumpkin, depending on the season. And they simply need to be planted in a 3x3 shape in your field, which covers a total of 9 spaces, and they then have a chance to turn into a giant crop. Today is the 12th. I want to see if anything has happened. Oh, it turns out there are a few giant ones now. It is the 12th, so they can happen before their natural maturity date. And I have noticed before they do grow in rows. Looking at how they're spaced, kind of on an angle from each other, they'll all follow that pattern, at least for the spring crops. I've actually got quite a few of them as I look through my field, so I'm pretty happy with that result. And the other benefit of not doing the scarecrows is I have more room, and if I want to replace a crop, all I have to do is replant it and then press O and it's there again. So far we have 18 giant cauliflower and it's only the 12th, so we're going to skip ahead to perhaps the 20th and then check again. 20th of spring, we'll see if we got any new ones. So far nothing new on the right side except for a few crows. Interestingly, we're still at 18 cauliflower. They all sprouted over a short period of time and have not sprouted any new ones since. Okay, well, let's skip ahead to the end of the month and see if that makes a difference. We'll go to the 28th and do what we have to do to get ready for summer. Here we are, the final day of spring, and therefore the last day for cauliflower. So far, nothing new on the right side once again, 5 of them over there, and this side looks the same. Actually, we do have 17 on this side now, so there's a total of 22 for the entire field. That's 22 giant crops so far for the month of spring. Now we just simply need to remove all the small regular ones, leaving the bigger ones there. They will hang out until the end of fall and hopefully be surrounded by other giant crops. And thanks to the cheats menu, we can harvest with the scythe. I'm not sure if it affects the large ones or not, hopefully not. Luckily it doesn't. I've just realized that I'm doing this wrong. If I remove all the small ones today, a bunch of those spots will be unhoed tomorrow and I'm going to have to re-hoe them, or re-bomb the spaces, and that's not going to work with the giant cauliflower. So I'm going to restart this day, skip ahead to summer, and then just scythe these small plants that will then be dead out of the way, and the spaces will remain hoed, and I'll plant my melons then. So, goodbye cauliflower, and hello summer, where I can plant the melons. And this is the last of the cauliflower that are now all gone. Now just gotta hoe a few spots in, and then melons. Alright, all the melon seeds are down, now it's just time to press that magic O button and make them all grow. 8:30 p.m. the melons are all down, so I'm going to check first thing tomorrow, see if any of them grew up real big, and if not, we'll go for a few more days after that and repeat until the end of the month. After one day, I've seen 1 crow so far, lots of giant cauliflower, and no melons yet, so same start as we had in spring. We'll go for a few more days to see what's what. Let's try the 6th for no reason in particular. Once again, no big melons. In spring it seemed to take just about till they would have been ready the natural way, so it might be the same with melons. Melons take 12 days, so we'll try like the 10th or 11th, see what's what. 10th of summer, no giant melons yet. We'll give it a few more days until they would have had a chance to naturally mature and see if that makes a difference. I just realized my horse is still here for some reason. He's been over a month without a stable and he's just hanging out. Anyways, today is the 13th, so the melons could have been mature and then even had an extra day, and so far, no big ones. That's kind of interesting. I thought I would have had at least one by now. Maybe they're trying to grow, but they're just growing on the same spot as the cauliflower, and therefore they can't. Let's check again on the 20th, and then hopefully we get at least one. Otherwise, this whole idea is going to fall apart. My dog is really annoying right now. Here we are on the 20th. If we don't find any giant melons now, I think this whole idea has fallen apart. Oh, there's some giant melons. Okay, we're in business. Again, I'm seeing a pattern of how they grow at that slight angle throughout the field. These ones are growing side by side. So far, there's 14 of them. They're all on the left side of my field, haven't had any show up on the right. Well, let's skip ahead to the end of the month, see if we get any more. Final day of summer, still no melons on the right side for whatever reason. They all like the left side. 27 giant melons on the left side of my farm for summer. Only one season left, and that means pumpkins, so let's get to it. Annoyingly, just have to clear up my field one last time. Now that I've scythed away my problems, it's just a matter of laying down 3,000 pumpkins. Seeds are all down, so of course that means it's time to hit the magic button and let the pumpkins grow. Pumpkins are all down, now it's time for my favorite game ever, the waiting game. I think this time we're going to wait till the 10th before we even bother to check because nothing ever seems to happen in the first few days. Already, it's the 10th. The crows are out in force. Not the end of the world. I can replace their damage. Already, it looks like we have quite a few pumpkins growing in the same rows as the other ones. I'm actually running out of room to walk. The number of pumpkins, though, is really good, so hopefully I get a lot more by the end of the month. It's only the 10th today, so there's still a lot of potential for a lot more. The 20th of fall, let's take another look. Still nothing on the right side of my field for whatever reason, aside from the original cauliflower. Pumpkins are still here. Not sure any more actually sprouted since the last time I checked, but that's okay, because I've got so many giant crops that I don't know what to do with them all. Well, this means we're only 8 days away from the thrilling conclusion to this idea of mine, and I'm not sure anything's actually going to change by then anyway. I might have maxed out my pumpkin allowance. Just like that, it's the final day of fall, and therefore the final day of the year to plant crops. So, still my original 5 cauliflower on that side, and I don't think there's any new pumpkins on this side. I haven't been counting though, to be fair. Alright, so the total numbers are 22 cauliflower, 28 melons, and 24 pumpkins. Pretty similar numbers all around the board. They all grow in a obvious pattern at this point. I'm not sure if they always do, it might just depend on the layout of the field itself. Anyways, this was kind of an interesting idea that I'd been wanting to try for a while, and now that I'm getting into the mods, it made it a lot easier to do this, although it still did take quite a while to actually plant and remove and replant and remove and change the dates and everything, so... Anyways, now that this one's done, I'm gonna get started on another one of a different game. Hopefully that's also up to date, but we'll see. I'm already running out of time. Also, for those of you that don't know, I do now have a Twitter. I'll post a link to that in the description should anyone be interested. And the next exciting marriage video should be up tomorrow. Not really sure who I'm gonna marry yet, but those are always exciting. Anyways, hope you like this one. Thank you all for watching.